go into this Russian experiment, yeah, trying to keep people awake as long as possible, yeah.
I've heard
Remove the need to sleep. Have you heard it? The Russian sleep experiment. Well, let me give you the background, and then let's discuss if that was us.
Okay.
What? Yeah.
Let's go.
If
Let's
we
get
were
right into it.
So this experiment happened in the 1940s, right?
Okay.
So still during the war, yeah? During the war. Now, these group of Russian researchers, yeah, they made a groundbreaking discovery around a gas-based stimulant that basically eradicated the need to sleep for hours on end, right?
Oh, right.
So what they did, they got 5 test subjects, yeah, that they stated were enemies of the state, yeah? So they're nobodies, yeah? They're people in their eyes that they could disregard,
Yeah.
So
No one's going to miss them.
No one's going to miss them, yeah? They took them out of the gulags and took them in here, and who's going to care? Yeah. So they took these individuals, yeah, and then they sealed them in this chamber, and then they made sure that within this chamber that they can measure the oxygen levels and that they could make sure that how much of the gas they're releasing and how much gas is left in conjunction with the oxygen that's available
To
in
try
there.
and optimize the duration,
Yes.
using the
Yes.
least amount of
Yes.
gas
Yeah.
to keep them awake the longer.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
mad.
But back then
That's
they
sick.
didn't. Yeah, but back then they didn't have CCTV. Yeah. So how did they monitor it? Well, they could only do 2 things. Yeah. So
Sit there and watch it.
so we'll sit there and watch it. So they made like these portholes, yeah, that obviously a thick glass on both sides, so it couldn't be broken through. None of the gas could come out and seep through. Yeah, it was a fully sealed chamber. Yeah, but so they had these portholes, but then also they needed to keep an ear on. Well, what are they talking about? You know, what's the behavior?
Listening
What's
to
the
the
sounds?
conversation.
So they
See
installed
what.
microphones in there as well. Yeah, so there were only two ways that they could do it. So for the first couple of days, the subjects seemed very compliant.
Yeah.
Didn't really do anything. Yeah. They were provided the basics for survival. So, you know, they were given a bed, they were given a cot. Well, I should call it a cot. It's basically, you know, the prison beds. Yeah. And then they were given tin food, and books.
That's like a bonus. Yeah. Thank you for taking part.
But why did they take part, these guys, as well? Like, you know, they were promised that if they don't go to sleep for the next 30 days, they'll get their freedom.
Yeah.
So they were vested in making
They
sure
wanted to make
they
it,
wanted to stay awake for 30 days because they were like, if we can do this, we're out of here. Yeah. So first couple of days, no problems at all. After about the 5th day, that's when the atmosphere within the chamber starts to grow a bit ominous. Right? The conversations amongst the 5 inmates start to change. They start to talk about, you know,
were they together?
Yeah, they were all together in this chamber.
right.
All 5 of them, they were together. Yeah.
Snap.
They started talking about the past lives and, you know, and but over
Sort
the
of
gradual
dark
days,
stuff.
yeah, dark stuff about what they've done and how they ended up in the gulag, etc., etc.
Maybe
But-
the things they've done in the past that they're not proud of.
Yes, yeah. But as the days went on, right, they started complaining about the circumstances that led them to where they are now.
Yeah.
Paranoia set in, and then all of a sudden they stopped talking to each other. They stopped communicating with each other at all. Yeah.
But just like
Yeah. They stopped
blanking each other out.
They start blanking each other. After about 9-10 days, one of the subjects, he sat there, and what he starts to do is
start screaming.
he screams, but he doesn't stop screaming. Carries on screaming for 3 hours straight. Yeah.
Wow.
What? This sucker had gone lost his mind. He's going crazy, yeah? 3 hours on the trot, he's screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming, yeah? He ends up tearing his vocal cords and...
From screaming. that much.
from screaming. But you know what was even stranger? The other 4 that were in there with him, they didn't react.
Oh, they didn't
They
react.
just sat there.
They just sat there. As if it wasn't even happening. Because obviously, don't forget, these scientists are watching through the portal. You know, they can hear the scream because of the microphones, and they're watching the behavior of everybody else. There's nobody going to go to this guy and say, "Yo, are you okay?"
Yeah.
They sit there and ignore him, like as if nothing's happening. But don't forget the paranoia that set in a few days earlier, so they're not even talking to each other.
Yeah.
But they're acting like they can't even see anything. They're not even going, "Shut up!"
Yeah. Imagine someone screaming for 3 hours.
3 hours straight.
Do you reckon that they just mentally blocked it, or they went deaf?
No, well, obviously we don't know. It's hard to say.
Probably like the mental state of just zoning out.
Yeah.
They can't sleep, but they're zoned out completely.
Is
so
there all
they
sort of
just,
trance or?
that's what I'm thinking.
But then what happened is the other
What
ones.
day was this? This was day.
This was about day 9-10.
Wow.
Yeah. Then the other
No
guys,
sleep.
They've not slept. Yeah. Then what's happened is The other inmates have started taking the books, yeah, started ripping the books out, started wiping their own feces over the books and wiping it across the walls and everything, and then they started covering the portholes. So now all of a sudden they can hear,
But they can't see.
they can't see. They left it for about 3 days. The scientists.
They just let them do what they're doing.
Because they can still hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously they don't want to ruin the experiment. But now 3 days have gone.
And they still haven't had any visual on them.
They haven't had any visual, but also for the 2 of them days, it's been complete silence. So they're thinking, well, these guys must be dead. We've got to go in. We've got to go in and find out.
I'm proper like vested in the story.
I need to know what's going here, man.
So they end up going in, yeah, and checking them out. Turns out all 5 of them are still alive, right?
Even the one who was screaming.
Yeah, they're all alive, yeah.
Right.
But the chamber is in a gruesome state. They've been mutilating themselves. Some with chunks of flesh stuffed into the drains. Yeah. Some of them removed their organs, and clearly there was something like really, really going on. But the strangest thing that the scientists seen was the fact that none of the food had been opened. Not one can of food had been opened.
From the beginning of the experiment.
Yeah. They're not eating anything.
What?
They're not eating anything. So they thought, you know what, we better move these guys and
Wait,
take
so
them out.
hang on, if they pull their organs out, how can they still survive? The power of the gas.
Anyway, you remember that chamber that you heard about about 70 years ago? Do you
I
remember
thought you were
that
actually
chamber?
going to check something.
Yeah. You know what I thought he was going to do? I thought he was going to go.
No, obviously, I'm not talking about their hearts, but they could have ripped
It
out
was
a
like
kidney or
Indiana
something.
Jones, like
Yeah.
Exactly.
guys alive screaming.
Yeah, exactly. Like they could have done something, right? But anyway, the fact of the matter is that they ended up killing some of the scientists. Yeah?
Oh wow!
Well, how did they kill the scientist?
Because they tried to remove them. They were like, "You're coming out." They were like, "We're not going anywhere. You need to give us more of that gas. We're falling asleep."
Gas.
Well, yeah,
okay.
give me the gas. We're falling asleep.
So they ended up killing.
Yeah. So obviously, what they ended up doing was
They ended up taking them all out.
no. They ended up continuing because the guy that was in charge was like, "Listen, I don't give a shit.
Carry on.
You carry this on. Yeah, these guys are dispensable. What are you worried about them for?
Yeah.
Carry on the trial. Give them. They're asking for the gas. Give them more gas. Let's see how far they can go." So the scientists reluctantly sealed the chamber back up
Yeah.
and started pumping it with gas. Surprisingly, upon the re-exposure of the gas, all the subjects that were left alive, because you're right, a couple of them died from taking out the organs, so there were 3 left.
Right.
Them 3 that were
Still alive.
they ended up being calm and serene as anything.
I thought you were going to say
So when
laughing
they got exposed to the gas calmed them back down.
Yeah.
Gas calmed them back down.
It's a nerve gas, then, isn't it?
Yeah. They started pleading for freedom. One of the commanding officers went in, got killed by one of them. So the rest of them.
How are these guys
Yeah,
taking
I know,
out
like-
freaking commanding
Yeah,
officers?
I know.
Yeah, because obviously they went in to see like what's going on because they wanted to progress the experiment, but for whatever reason it wasn't going in the direction that they thought. So when the commanding officer goes in, obviously you got 3 of these guys that are jacked up on this gas.
Oh, so they've attacked.
Yeah, they've attacked them, killed them. Then obviously they have.
Because they don't feel no pain.
Yeah. So
Like Mr. T.
So they have ended up going in, and people have died. Yeah. So what did they do? Well, there's only one thing you do: the remaining subjects, you kill them.
Kill them, yeah.
Yeah. But then one of the guards that was went in. What was he exposed to?
The
The
gas.
gas.
The gas. So now all the subjects are dead. Yeah. So they ain't getting no freedom. But then that one guard who was exposed, yeah, comes out, starts feeling delirious, and then they go to report back to the high chief, yeah, the main guy, Vlad.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
He's
was
the
going
top
on.
lad.
Yeah, he's the top lad, yeah. Vlad the top lad.
Yeah.
And when he gets in front of Vlad,
Nah. I
shoots
knew
Vlad,
that was going to happen.
killed him.
It is a true story.
Was it the paranoia?
Yeah.
Is it because of the
'cause
paranoia?
of
Paranoia,
Obviously
yeah, the
paranoia,
paranoia,
yeah.
the paranoia kicked in. Yeah.
That's mad.
When they went back into the chamber,
Yeah.
afterwards, there was written in blood on the wall, "So nearly free."